Let's get to the big story right now, obviously, potentially is Nvidia. And this may not happen. I want to make that very clear. It was a journal story over the weekend. If Nvidia were to pull back or out of that $100 billion OpenAI investment, what would it mean, if anything?
Well, I mean, I think it shows you how the world has changed from September, but we kind of know that, right? In the sense that there's a reason Oracle's stock is down over 50% from its 52-week high following that monster quarter they put up in the middle of September. So I think, what will be interesting is what the amount ends up being, because remember when that agreement was signed in September, it was for $100 billion, but it was a letter of intent. So they didn't necessarily need to follow through on that. And you saw in filings from Nvidia since then that they said, this might not ever get done. The CFO, CEO have said that in conferences starting as early as January, as far as I can remember. So this is not, in some sense, new news per se, but it does tell you that Nvidia clearly thinks a lot differently about OpenAI than they did in September of last year.
Nvidia's stock price continues under pressure this week, even as American equities climb to a record high. Nvidia sank to a low of $180, down about 15% from its greatest level in 2025. Despite the stock's positive valuation indicators, this article examines some of the main reasons why it might drop in the near future. The daily period chart illustrates that the Nvidia stock price has collapsed from a high of $212 in October last year to the present $180. The super trend signal has changed from green to red, indicating that the downturn is intensifying. A closer examination reveals that the stock has developed a neckline at $175 and a double top pattern at $193. One of the most prevalent bearish reversal patterns in technical analysis is a double top. The stock has developed a large head and shoulders pattern, which is a typical technical analysis indicator of a bearish reversal. It has also slipped below the 50-day exponential moving average, EMA. Therefore, the most likely Nvidia stock price projection is strongly bearish, with the initial target being at $170, which is the neckline of the head and shoulders pattern. A dip below that level will signal to more downside, potentially to the 50% Fibonacci retracement mark at $150, which is around 17% below the current level. A move above the resistance barrier at $190 will invalidate the optimistic outlook. A fundamental reason why the Nvidia stock price is at risk of a strong negative breakdown is because sales of its chips to China has paused as the U.S. performs a study. According to the Financial Times, these sales are waiting for final approval from the Trump administration, months after the president permitted the shipments. The article added that Chinese corporations were not placing orders, presumably as they waited for further information on whether Nvidia will be able to deliver. Nvidia predicts that sales to China may bring in over $50 billion a year. Experts believe that the evaluation has taken longer than planned because officials are concerned some of these chips would go to the Chinese military and espionage organizations. Nvidia is also facing the potential that some large clients may decrease their AI buildup in the near term. A primary concern is Microsoft, which is said to be its biggest customer. Microsoft's stock price has dropped by double digits from its peak level in 2025, a trend that exacerbated after presenting its financial reports last week. According to these findings, the company's cloud revenue growth stagnated during the fourth quarter. The business will probably start cutting back on spending if this pattern persists. Nvidia's other significant difficulty is that its top clients are now creating their ASIC processors. This includes businesses like Microsoft, OpenAI, Google, and Amazon. OpenAI, which is displeased with parts of Nvidia's chips, has teamed with Broadcom to manufacture these chips. The persistent memory shortage that has driven businesses like Western Digital and Seagate Technology higher may have an effect on the company's expansion. Still, on the positive side, there are evidence that Nvidia has become a highly discounted firm based on its predicted growth. Its forecast price-to-earnings ratio has decreased to 39, far lower than its 5-year average of 45. The company's growth, excluding China, is likely to keep expanding in the future years. Analysts anticipate its 2025 revenue to be $213 billion, up by 53% YOY, while its 2027 revenue will be $234 billion, up by 51%. If this happens, the corporation will climb to above $500 billion in yearly revenue in 2027 or 2028. A $500 billion revenue for a corporation with a net profit margin of 54% suggests that it will be producing over $200 billion in annual profits. Nvidia CEO Jensen Huang disputed fears that artificial intelligence will replace software and associated technologies, calling the premise illogical after a big sell-off in global software equities on Tuesday. The sell-off, partly prompted by AI company Anthropic's updated chatbot release last week, that heightened fears of AI-driven disruption in the data and professional services business, broadened on Wednesday, hurting software equities in India, Japan, and China. Speaking at an artificial intelligence conference in San Francisco, hosted by Cisco Systems, Huang said, "Worries that AI will make software businesses less relevant are unfounded, and AI will continue to rely on current software rather than develop basic tools from scratch." Join our investor community. Hit subscribe and like to get your daily Nvidia stock insights and tutorials delivered. There's this concept that the tool in the software industry is in decline and will be replaced by AI. According to Huang, time will show that it is the most nonsensical thing in the world. If you were a human or robot, artificial, general robotics, would you utilize tools or reinvent tools? The answer clearly is to use tools. Because the tools are intended to be explicit, the most recent advances in AI are related to tool use. Shares in Indian IT dropped 6.3% on Wednesday, tracking falls in global software stocks. Tech services firm Infosys was among the worst losers, falling 7.3%. China's CSI Software Services Index also fell 3%, while in Hong Kong, shares of software company King D International Software Group tumbled more than 13%. In Japan, staffing firm Recruit Holdings and Nomura Research fell 9% and 8%, respectively. Nvidia CEO Jensen Huang used a late-evening conversation with a partner to illustrate how he feels artificial intelligence is transforming the computing industry and why organizations should act swiftly to adopt it, even if near-term return on investment is tough to calculate. Huang said the industry is reinventing computing for the first time in 60 years, describing a move from explicit programming, where developers write code and describe variables, to implicit programming, where users state intent and the system chooses how to achieve it. He suggested that the transition extends well beyond CPUs to the whole computer stack, including storage, networking, and security. In that regard, Huang cited an ongoing relationship targeted at combining NVIDIA's AI networking technology with Cisco's Nexus control plane to combine AI performance with Cisco's controllability and security and the manageability. He noted that the organizations want to take a similar approach to security. Huang also claimed enterprise AI adoption languished in part because early systems were more interesting and curious than actually productive. He identified the next phase as agentic AI, where systems may use tools, undertake research, incorporate memory, and rely on retrieval-augmented generation to base replies and facts. Asked what actions firms could take to get ready, Huang said he would avoid focusing too early on spreadsheet-style ROI estimates, adding it is frequently hard to quantify the value of new technologies at the beginning. Instead, he urged selecting a company's most meaningful task and deploying AI there, rather than starting with peripheral stuff. He constantly highlighted the necessity to encourage broad experimentation, describing his own organization as having 1,000 flowers bloom across various projects. Huang asserted that companies should let individuals safely try items before curating the garden after they have found what works, because innovation is not always under control. He mentioned that his organization uses a spectrum of AI products, listing Anthropic, Codex, and Gemini as examples. As an example of focusing on core tasks, Huang alluded to attempts to revolutionize the tools used for chip and system design. He noted relationships with Synopsys, Cadence, Siemens, and Dassault, adding he wants those tool providers to have whatever technologies they need to update workflows. Huang characterized AI as drastically reducing the cost of intelligence, enabling jobs that traditionally took a year to be done in a day, an hour, or even in real time. He claimed that AI development proposes a new sensibility where teams should anticipate capabilities that feel practically limitless, including processing extremely large graphs in full rather than in parts, and he compared the rate of progress to Moore's law. He suggested that organizations not adopting such approach risk being outperformed by competitors or new entrants that treat speed, scalability, and iteration as virtually constraints-free. On physical AI, Huang dismissed the concept that AI will simply replace software tools, calling such approach illogical. He said advanced AI systems, whether robots or digital agents, should use tools rather than develop them, comparing enterprise software to practical implements like screwdrivers and hammers. He cited tool use as a crucial direction for AI growth. He added that a deeper understanding of reality, including causality, will be necessary for the next generation of physical AI. He provided the example of a child's instinctive knowledge of domino effects and stated that present huge language models do not naturally contain such physical thinking. Huang said, digital labor, such as self-driving cars functioning as digital chauffeurs, might be valued well above the underlying technology over time. He also suggested that AI opens the IT sector to a market significantly larger than traditional IT, contrasting an IT business of around $1 trillion with a global economy of about $100 trillion. He suggested many companies will seek to become technology first, emphasizing the advantage of working with electrons, not atoms, and said that AI makes it easier for organizations to translate domain expertise into software outcomes because they can express intent directly, rather than relying solely on traditional coding skills. Huang recommended enterprises to build hands-on expertise of AI infrastructure rather than depending only on renting cloud services. He compared it to assembling a computer or learning to lift the hood and change the oil in an automotive context, suggesting that the technology is essential enough that businesses require tactile experience with how it works. He also emphasized the argument for a hybrid approach, renting some resources while holding others, particularly for sovereignty and private information. Huang said Nvidia creates AI systems locally because it is not comfortable putting all of the company's interactions in the cloud, claiming that a company's most valuable IP may be its questions rather than its answers. Finally, Huang criticized the concept that AI systems should constantly keep humans in the loop, calling that framing archaic. Instead, he suggested corporations should put AI in the loop, so organizations can capture and compound knowledge over time. According to his predictions, employees will have lots of AIs integrated into their daily tasks, and those systems would eventually become a part of an organization's intellectual property. Over the past couple of years, Nvidia and Palantir have been among the hottest stocks on the market. Nvidia has risen to become the world's most valuable public business, and Palantir's market cap has jumped by more than 835%. Despite being among the more well-known artificial intelligence, AI stocks, their functions in that field are completely different. It's not an apples-to-apples comparison, but if I had to pick one to invest in, the choice is apparent. Nvidia supplies key hardware that makes training and executing AI viable. The AI industry would not be nearly as large as it is now if it weren't for goods like its GPUs and other networking equipment. Because of this, its value has increased dramatically throughout the AI boom. Its leading position has also allowed it to hike its costs because demand for AI accelerators is far surpassing supply. Last quarter, Nvidia's data center revenue surged 66% year over year to $51.2 billion. Its data center revenue was just $3.83 billion 3 years ago. What does Palantir do? Data analytics is the area of expertise for Palantir, an AI software company. It has been around since 2003, but its current spike in popularity on Wall Street has a lot to do with how its business has been expanding. For much of its existence, Palantir's focus was largely on government contracts. Its main clients include the Defense Department, the CIA, the FBI, and ICE. Today, the U.S. government is still its main client, but its U.S. commercial sector has emerged as a real growth area, and its proof that it can be more than just a government contractor has aroused a lot of investor interest. If I had to choose between Nvidia and Palantir for an AI investment, I would go with Nvidia. Its solutions are vital to AI infrastructure, while Palantir's is software-based and will rely more on adoption. There's also a wide valuation differential between them that shouldn't be ignored. Palantir was trading at about 144.7 times its forecast earnings as of the beginning of February, while Nvidia was trading at about 40.7 times its predicted earnings over the next 12 months. Nvidia's stock is costly. Palantir's stock is unnecessarily costly. What the AI boom will bring about and how things will appear in a few years are still unknown. For this reason, rather than investing in a firm that is only focused on its AI software business, I would prefer to invest in one that focuses on infrastructure and can sell its goods into areas outside of AI. Don't forget to share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Your input helps create a more knowledgeable community where we can all learn and grow together in the world of investing. Stay up to date with the latest market trends, insights, and key updates by subscribing to Investing Tutorial. We're here to help you make smarter investment decisions and stay ahead of the curve.